stoppage that was created by James Dolman, who is not my favourite referee out there. But in this case, I was happy enough for him to call Ryan Lonergan up for not using the ball there. I think you're right in saying that there could have been any number of other instances across the weekend, and I certainly counted one or two from the Chiefs later in that match that should have been called. And I've got no issue with that as long as it's consistency. Let's have it as, lying in the tackle. If you're the tackle lying in, that's going to be a focal point, then make this a listed focal point as well. But I was thinking about it then once this, because it was the first time that I've seen it called for such a long time, but the actual sanction is counterproductive to the law itself, because we're then stopping the game, taking 30 to 45 seconds probably to get the two forward packs together to set a scrum. So by stopping the game, we're actually then stopping it for longer than we should have. Is there a rethink on this law that maybe, and I know there was the release that came out of the World Rugby meetings last week around trying to speed the game up, and I can't remember the exact terminology, but it was a very rugby way of saying we're in the entertainment business. I'll have to go and dig it out because it was just call it what it is. But anyway, a way of reducing the intention, not that we're going to do this, but, open discussions around the ability to, I guess, take scrums in certain situations. Now, for me, that would be a perfect situation just to have a free kick. You can't have a scrum. It's a tap and go or up and under, whatever you want to do. But by just calling a scrum, it just goes against the whole ethos of that particular law.
It's a great point, Brucey, and this is why you should be on the World Rugby Commission. There's no doubt about it. A great point, well articulated. I think the thing that frustrated, it's the first I can remember since Ryan Lawrence, I think, was pinged for the Rebels against the Force last year, very early in the season, and people were kind of scratching their head going, wow, this is a bit of a refreshing change. But to me, the inconsistency right the way through the weekend, and I've watched every game, did 4 match reports from the 6 matches, and particularly on the Friday, there was so many examples where that could have been that could have taken place. To wait until a Sunday, to me, it smacks of a referee who's looking at how do I get all more international fixtures, because James Dolman might be clear in his communication, generally speaking, but I think he's the sort of referee that comes out and tries to do things in his own volition at times.